We are delighted to welcome you to today's webinar on Modernize Your Data Stack with AI and Microsoft Fabric. So we are in an era where data drives every strategic decisions. Organizations are seeking innovative ways to unify, simplify, and accelerate their data ecosystems. And in today's webinar, we will explore how AI-powered capabilities and Microsoft Fabric's unified data platform can help you modernize your data stack, break down silos, and unlock new potential opportunities for insight and innovation. Whether you're a data leader, architect, or business decision maker, this session will offer like practical strategies, real-world use cases, and a vision for building an AI-ready data foundation that will scale with your business. Thank you all for joining us, and let's dive in and discover how to transform your data into a true competitive advantage. Today, the session is going to be handled by Shikhar. He is a DP 600, 700 certified data scientist, and along with Shikhar is going to be like Ehsan, who will be taking you through the demo. Next slide, Shikhar. So before delving deep into the technical aspects, I want to introduce the company we belong to, Royal Cyber. We are IT consulting and digital transformation company. We specialize in services, solutions, and software. We have more than 20 years experience. We are here since like 2002, headquartered in Chicago. We have 2,500 plus employees globally. We have more than 500 certified consultants. We work with more than 600 plus clients around the globe. And we are also technologically partnership with all leading service providers, including Microsoft, Databricks, Snowflake from the data side. Next slide. Here are some of the verticals we work in Royal Cyber, including digital commerce, digital transformation, data modernization, enterprise architecture, automation and optimization. And me, Shikhar, and Ehsan, we belong to the data modernization aspect, where we work mostly on products like Microsoft Fabric, Databricks, Snowflake, Purview for governance. And we also help our customers in data strategy and roadmap development. We also help them with legacy data system modernization, migration, help them with like real-time data analytics and visualizations. Next one. So here are some of the data and AI offerings for our customers. We help them with data architecture, data integration services, data warehouse. We help them build and deploy like large language models, and we also help them create like enterprise AI agents for RAG, and also help them with like predictive and prescriptive analytics. Next one. So we are, a partnership with Microsoft. We are like gold certified partners. We are also ESIF enabled partners, where ESIF is end customer investment funds. Like if you have a POC, if you're trying to leverage Fabric for your data and analytics needs, we can help you get some funding from Microsoft. They will be funding for your POCs and help you accelerate your Fabric journey. So along with Microsoft, we also collaborate on working on like day-long workshops. They are called like XAID events. For example, it is going to be like Fabric Analyst in a day, or real-time intelligence in a day. We work in tandem with Microsoft. These are like day-long workshops. If you are planning to leverage Fabric for your data needs, and you want to do a try and also learn how to work on some of the workloads in Fabric, you can always like reach out to us, and we'll be happy to host this in-a-day events in your organization specific for your needs, and then like you can take it from there.
So
with that, I will hand it over to Shikhar. You can take it from here.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. So Here's what we'll be covering today. We'll start with why Microsoft Fabric is redefining the way organizations approach data and AI, and what makes it different from traditional platforms. Then we'll look at the key components of Fabric, like One Lake, Data Factory, the analytical engines, and how warehouse lakehouses work. From there, I'll show you AI in action, specifically how Copilot is embedded in notebooks, pipelines, reporting, anything within Fabric for you to accelerate your work. We'll also walk through how Fabric supports scalable um, pipelines. We'll also see the version controlling part with how do we have CI/CD with Git and deployment pipelines. After that, I also have a live demo of model training, and we'll be showcasing the accelerator features and functionalities, how it helps you through our presentations. So before I start, this is one of my favorite stats. Over 90% of the world's data has been created in just the last 2 years. Think about that. Most of the data that we rely on to make decisions didn't even exist 3 years ago. It's not just volume, it's variety and velocity. We're generating logs, transactions, IoT signals, click streams, documents, videos, and now AI generated content, all at an unprecedented speed. The challenge is traditional data platforms were never designed for this space. By the time you clean and move the data into a warehouse, the business need has already changed. That's exactly why Microsoft Fabric was built to handle this explosion of data in the unified way, ready for AI and real time insights. When we look at the most organizations today, the biggest challenge isn't lack of data. It's the data that lives in silos. You've got a data lake over here, a warehouse over there, separate ETL tools, ML models in notebooks, and BI reports on top. Each one is powerful in isolation, but together it creates complexity, duplication, and governance headaches. That's where Fabric comes in. Fabric unifies these silos into one integrated SaaS platform. At the core is one lake, a single open foundation that all workloads share. On top of it, you have data engineering, data science, data analytics. These are the tools that your teams interact with day to day. But what makes Fabric different is that all of these workloads are powered by the same foundation. On top of one lake, you get data factory for ingestion and transformation, and the flexibility to choose between lakehouse for AIML and unstructured analytics, or a warehouse for structured BI and reporting. All of this is wrapped with enterprise grade governance, security, and compliance, so that you don't sacrifice control while empowering others. The key takeaway is that Fabric isn't one more tool, it's the unifying layer that bridges and brings all the gaps, all these components together into a single SaaS platform. It gives you the flexibility to work with analytical engines like Spark, T-SQL, KQL, and other services. Here's what I'm about to show you live. The mistake, a pipeline, how you uh, work with your pipelines. What are the challenges that you face in day-to-day lives as your data estate might be needing? So let's just look at this scenario. Assume that a person, Ron, he just joined the analytics team. His first task is to bring in customer transactions feed. The raw data is dumped into a warehouse, but it's full of duplicates and missing fields. He tries to build pipelines, but every transformation has to be coded manually. Weeks later, he has something running, but the data scientist on his team now needs a copy of the data into another notebook just to start modeling. Meanwhile, leadership is asked for a dashboard, but the reporting team is stuck waiting on clean data. And worst of all, there's no version control or proper deployment process. If Alex, me, or Ron changes one thing, the production breaks. It's not going through the layers in a programmatic manner. So what do? We introduce Fabric. What Fabric brings to the table? Now imagine the same scenario where you have Microsoft Fabric in place. Ron can now ingest the same feed into One Lake Bronze. Instead of writing manual code, he uses Copilot in pipelines to clean duplicates and fix formats in seconds. In a Fabric notebook, Copilot helps him train a predictive model without leaving the environment. With a click, Ron commits everything to GitHub, and Fabric's deployment pipeline promotes his asset from dev to test, from test to prod safely, with an audit trail. Finally, in Power BI, Copilot auto generates the visuals, giving leadership the insights they need immediately. What once took weeks now take hours in one platform. It's all integrated within the same unified SaaS platform. With this, I would go to my demo. Allow me to share my screen again. So here we are in our Fabric environment. As you can see, there are multiple things that we can work with. I have many of the workspaces that I've been working on. So the one that I'm going to pick today is a financial domain project that we picked up. So here you can see a few things. On the left, there are all the tools that has Power BI. From the bottom, I can switch it from Fabric to Power BI Experience. You have your workspaces, your home. If you want to create new items, new folders, whether you want to migrate something, you have deployment pipelines, access, and whatnot. So let's just see the lineage view. Fabric builds up the lineage view for you to actually see how your data is flowing. The Lakehouse RC demo is the lakehouse that I made for this webinar. You can see that this data is flowing into numerous activities. Notebook 1, Notebook 2, Notebook for AI prompts, for a zero shot classifier, training and testing your model for risk, predicting loans, AI recommendations. It goes into a semantic model, which is basically feeding your report as well. So you can see how the data is flowing. Let's get to the source control part. As you can see, things here are synced with my version control. So if I click on this, I can see what item is not actually synced up. So this is a notebook that I changed recently, and it's now showing changes that needs to be pushed. So I simply click on this and I can go and put a commit. So with just one click of a button, your changes are committed into your repository. Version control could not have been much easier in this platform. Now let's see what are the features and functionalities of AI, and maybe let's try to test and train a model. So within the same platform, I can open up notebooks. I can attach your data items on the left. If you can see, all the data sets that I'm working on has the same single copy. No more movement of data has to be done from your data engineers to the data scientists. It's all there within the same environment. If I want to add some new data source, I can simply click on add data items, existing data sources, and I can choose any data source that my data engineers have created. This would make sure that your whole organization has one true single copy. That is the single source of truth across all your workflows. So now let's just see a few things that we have done here. I'll collapse this. Here I'm basically just importing a few libraries. I'm loading the tables to be used in data frames. These tables, as you can see, I'm not actually defining the path here. I'm simply saying the table names because the data has been attached to it already. We have these tables here. So I just gotta use the name. With this, what I'm doing here is that I'm aggregating values per loan. I aggregate these values and I see whether the payments was done on time or not. If we go look at the data, this is how it looks. So we have customer IDs, we have their associated loans, their equipment IDs, the amount of loan that they took, the start date of that loan, the tenure in months, the interest rate that they're paying, the number of defaulted payments, total number of payments, the missed payments, on time rate, their credit score, prior defaults, years with lender, industry, and company size. Then I choose my features that I want to work with, and I enrich this table and I write these aggregated values in a table called enriched loans. With this, Now I'm loading the enriched loans in my data frame. I'm running a random forest classifier model where I'm trying to predict the risk associated with each loan and the client. I populate those tables. I'm attaching those predicted risk score to each loan, and then I'm extracting that data and writing back into a table all within Fabric. So this is a simple, a classic data science workflow that's running within the same environment on the same true copy of the data. Now let's see how Copilot helps. If you guys are keen enough, there's a single spot that really is bright on the whole screen. If you see the colors, it's all monotonous except the colorful guy sitting on the top. If we see what all things can it do, let's just see some options that it suggests. Load data from my lakehouse into a data frame. It's a simple code, but do you want to really write it? If not, just simply take this. Generate insights from data. Do you want to see what we could do on that part? Let's just choose that. It says we need to pick some data. So let's say loan underscore contracts and see what Copilot brings up. Oh, so you need to connect your notebook on a session in order to use Copilot or any compute that's running. So the session started. Let's try again. And meanwhile, while it does its work, let's see, is that the only place where Copilot could work? Not really. Let's say I'm working on this cell and I want to work on basically I want to load the enriched loans and display the count of the records. Let's use Copilot within the notebook cell. Ask help from Copilot. Okay. What do we want? Let's just copy paste this prompt. Now Copilot is going to run and it's going to see the data that is attached to our lakehouse. It can see that enriched loans is a table and it will now use its AI capabilities to basically load that data and run on a code that could display the count. So as soon as it finds such a prompt, it's going to go look, find its details and display and give us the code right within the same working cell where you're working currently. Um, the reason it's running a little slow is because I just started the session. So now you can see the prompt that was given here is to load the enriched loans and display the count. So we see the Spark code here and let's just accept it and try to run this. So with this code, what it does is it's loading a table and it's printing the count of the rows that are in that table. Similarly, you could use it for any use case that you might come up with. So you see the count of rows in enriched loans is 200. This is a simple demonstration of how you could use Copilot within your working environment. So you do not have to switch tabs, go copy paste it from here and there. It's all in the same secured environment sitting right next to you. And you would be really interested in knowing this fact that Copilot now comes free with all the SKUs. So any capacity that you enroll for, you'll be having Copilot sitting in your workspaces. Along with that, you can see it actually created few code lines for me. Since I said that I want to analyze and provide insights about the data, you can see that it's also limiting your number of rows that it want to show. It's printing the schema. It's showing few rows. It is selecting some. It is counting the number of defaulted loans. It's printing all that. It's also showing you few columns that it seems it thinks that are important. And you can simply work with this. That's the AI capabilities within Notebook. Now let's see something really interesting. Have you ever heard of CI/CD pipelines? Oh yes. How do I implement it? It's right there sitting inside Fabric. You can have your development, test, and production servers where you can simply work on tools, codes, whatever you want to work with. So let's just see this is our development server where I have few items. Uh, yeah. So I have few items that are sitting in development. As you can see, There's no source or stage item since this is the initial point. Let's click on test. In test, you can see it is showing me a git diff kind of setup where I can see whether the artifact that I'm working on, whether be it a pipeline, a notebook, is it different from the source, or is it same as the source, or is it only in source. Let's say this pipeline is not in the source. I cannot even see it in the workspace. I can simply click it on here and click on deploy. This can also be automated based on how you want to work with. You can have your checks, you could have governance sitting on top of it. I'll show you quickly how that works. Okay, something went wrong, but it should have deployed. Let's just try it in production. So we have, let's say this notebook, silver notebook, which is only sitting in the test environment. If we deploy it from test within production, we simply get the artifact all the way to the production. Now you can see that it is showing that the notebook, silver notebook, is now same as source. This is how deployment works from your development test to production, all within the same pipeline. You can have multiple such pipelines where you can work on such scenarios. So this is going to help you uh, employ CI/CD within your Fabric environment. And not just this, I'll also show you that our Copilot is sitting almost everywhere. So let's just try to go to regions capital. Let's just try to load the report. This is the report that I want to work with. I have Copilot sitting next to my reports as well. So for all my C-level folks, just imagine that you have your dashboards, which the data team is working on. You want to present this to your higher management. And I just want to see what's the actually summary of this. I simply go and ask it to give me an executive summary of this report. It's concised, use a bullet list. This is a preformed prompt. If you want, you could make it more enhanced. And as you can see, within seconds, it's telling me the total loan portfolio stands at $188 million dollars with 87 customers, the number of payments processed. It's summarizing all the data that is basically sitting on your production level reports. And this way you can generate insights, you can create visuals and work with similar things. So that's the demo which showcases AI capabilities within Microsoft Fabric. And let me just share my PPT again. Now let's quickly talk about accelerators, right? How does accelerators work? Accelerators, as the name goes, it helps you accelerate your development, deployment, and all the necessary steps in order for you to implement a data warehousing solution like Fabric. How it works? It takes a metadata that is control DB, which holds your source details, your rules, your target mappings. It has a format, or let's say a template of pipelines where you can configure it once and then reuse it for any sources, be it SAP, Oracle, and other CRMs. It could also go for SQL databases. You can have reusable transformations which run on metadata rather than having or reading the column name. It's going to work on the metadata. What does the column contain? Is it a name? That's how it's going to process. It's going to check for null values. It's going to check for capitalized names, small cases, and stuff like that. Your data flows through the layered medallion architecture with configurations done on the fly. This reduces or increases your um, turnaround time to implement such a solution. So just an example, if you have a template for SAP sales orders, framework can be utilized across different sources and tenants. You just need to update the metadata in control DB and your pipeline would ingest, transform, and land the data into Fabric Lakehouse to the warehouse. This is something that we provide to our customers, which helps them accelerate their development time. With this, I'll be handing this demo for our accelerator to SN.
Um, Hi everybody, this is Hassan. I'm part of the team in Royal Cyber working as a data engineer. Shikhar, can you please give me the
Yep,
control right now?
it should be with you.
Yes, thank you so much. Let me just open the slide. Okay, sharing the screen. Shikhar, do let me know once you see my screen.
Yep, visible.
Thank you so much. Okay, so as Shikhar has introduced us with the accelerators, so it's like end-to-end platform or framework that is already sitting there, and you just need to plug in and change some values, and you should be ready to go. So we have an example over here of a company, maybe global gear manufacturing, that is a mid-sized company that is producing industrial equipment, launches a new initiative, and they want to track their regional sales performance across different regions, right? So there are two scenarios over there. You can use the accelerator or you can work without the accelerator, right? So let's just say with what happens without the accelerator. So without the accelerator, you have to build everything from the scratch, right? So you have to make the resource groups, make the capacities, assign the capacities to the workspaces, make the lake houses, as Shikhar has shown you the workspaces and some lake houses as well in the earlier demo. So all of that stuff, all of the fabric artifacts and objects are to be built manually. So every time, maybe the process is the same, like the medallion architecture remains the same, but you have to build it from the scratch every time. So you are creating the ingestion pipelines for each different source, each different tenant, each different client, and you are setting up the logging tables, and you are setting up the error handling logic every time manually, and developing different transformation scripts, or you can say transformation rules every time, which can be developed in one framework and can be used again and again across different tenants. So what this ends up, it concludes us with more than maybe 6 weeks, or if the data is big, more than 6 weeks to dashboards to go live, and more engineering hours or more work for the data engineering and data science teams to do the same stuff, same repetitive stuff, instead of doing analytics, right? So that is without the accelerator. What happens when the team goes with the accelerator, right? So it is like setting up the template that is already there, that is already developed, and it is dynamic enough so that you just plug in the values, the connections that are different for different sources. You just need to set up the tenant IDs, because that is going to be different for different clients, and workspaces because different for different project. You just need to plug in those values, and you should have an end-to-end solution, starting from ingestion till the gold layer. So it's like registering source, fees, and schema details in metadata database. So we'll be having one database only, that is like a metadata database, and all of the pipelines will be feeding from that particular database. We have pre-built pipelines and lakehouse structures that are automatically generated to bronze, silver, and gold layers that is being fed from metadata database. Logging, monitoring, and everything is being done within that structure. Every time the ingestion pipeline runs, it gives your row counts every time. It gives the status every time. All of the monitoring, whether it failed or it succeeded or not, everything is taken care of within that architecture and framework. So you don't have to write the plumbing code and making pipelines. So you have to concentrate on delivering KPIs only, that's it. So you don't waste time to build the pipelines and codes every time for doing the same task for different clients, right, for different tenants. So at the end or the conclusion for this, like you have completed that particular task within 3-4 weeks, and lower engineering hours, and the framework is reusable for different clients, different tenants, and faster iteration when new regions are added. So you can add more sources to it with lesser amount of effort whenever a new source is added. So let me just take you guys to a small demo for this as well. Let me close this and open up my browser. Put it down. Sorry. Yeah, here it is. So let me just refresh it first. Okay. So what you see over here is a workspace in Fabric. So everything, every artifact, every database, lakehouse, or whatever you are creating should be visible over here, as Shikhar has already told us about this. So what I'm going to do is, we already have a repository that contains an end-to-end code, or you can say end-to-end architecture. We are just going to connect to that repository and see how we can generate the whole end-to-end architecture in our workspace over here. So for that, as Shikhar has already shown you, that we can connect to our repository from our workspace settings. Okay. So before I move forward, I just want to let you know that this particular database is going to act as our metadata database. So all of the metadata is going to be stored over here. I have connected to it. Sorry, I have made the connection to it already, and I have the connection ID to it with me already. So I'm just going to make a connection over here to my Git repository. I'm going to Git integration, GitHub, and I'm just going to connect to it. Okay, it requires the repository URL. Let me just bring out my repository URL first. This is my repository. Just copy and paste over here. Just add it. Let me just try again. I think this is the wrong. Yeah, here. This one. Copy and paste. And I've already created a branch, accelerator branch. I have a folder, workspace, connect and sync. And I am connected to my Git repository. So all of the data should be here. Now, what's going to happen is, like, I have a repository already set up. So all of the objects are going to come in that are already made in my repository, and we can see we should be able to see them over here. But uh, once it loads, I will share one more thing with you guys. It would take some time, a minute or two, to load. So after this, as it is running, I want to show you that I have not changed a single thing in the repository right now. So this would not give me the latest workspace ID, the tenant I'm working in, the tenant ID, the capacity ID. I have not changed anything over there. So it won't actually be running, or I would say be ready to run this framework. For that, what we're going to do is, okay, let me go over here. Okay, so this is the repository connected in my local machine. I just want to make some changes. So this is my repository, and I have one Python script already present in my repository. That let me just bring it over here in the screen. So this is my repository, and I have two files over here: configure.replace and replace token. So this Python script is going to run and give me or replace all the required values that I have already mentioned, like the capacity ID or tenant ID. So whenever you have to work for a different client or a different project or a workspace, you just need to take those values, put it in a configuration file, and run this Python source file, and you should be able to replicate the whole, I would say, framework in the in your workspace. For this, I would just run. First of all, I need some values. So this is my replace tokens.py Python file, and I would like to have a report over here. So this gives me in how many files I have to make changes. So it's almost 12 files that we need to change before that is made usable, end-to-end usable. So I will just now go ahead and run the Python script to replace all the values. So I will run the script, and you can see I have total replacement 71, files change 12. So if I go in my local repository, I should have, so I have a lot of changes. So 14 changes came in. So I just want to go ahead, stage the changes over here. Once staged, I will commit to it, and I would say IDs updated. IDs updated. That's it. I will commit. It will take some time. This committed. Now sync it with the repository. Go over there. This will take some time over here. And done. Yep, it's done. And over here, it would take some time. Let it load a little. Yeah, so we have some more changes. Update all. So I've tried this multiple times. Sometimes Fabric acts up and it takes multiple refreshes, multiple attempts like this. Let me do all the changes. Merge and update. Sometimes it takes multiple attempts. So for that, after the refresh, what happens is I just want to show you that first so that we are good with the timeline as well. So after committing, we have the whole structure over here in front of us like this. So we have not built any of this. We have not built any of this. We have just connected our repository, changed some IDs, some grids, and we have an end-to-end pipeline that picks up data that has a control database, a SQL server that has Silver Lakehouse that has SQL Server as our ingestion source, and a complete solution for moving the data through different layers, doing the transformations. You can see we have level 1 transformations, we have level 2 transformations, where level 1 represents deduping and common transformations that are needed, like trimming, deduping, and adding primary keys and finding primary keys. And then level 2 transformation is basically the stored procedures that puts up the data to our last gold layer. So you can see how easy it is to set up this end-to-end architecture in just few clicks and connecting with our repository. And we can maybe in fact we can edit it to make a custom solution as well. So that's how we can move this particular solution to different sources, different tenants, different capacities. We just need to bring in, and we'll have a whole solution. So that's about it from my side. I'll be handing back to Shikhar to have a closing words. Uh, I'm stopping the sharing. Shikhar, I've stopped. Do you have the control right now?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Asan. So, in a nutshell, what we achieved with the accelerator here is configuring and setting up. Sorry. So, in a nutshell, what we did here in this demo is configuring and setting up a complete pipeline by automating it. So, you saw how easy it is to quickly configure and get your pipeline within your workspace all ready to work. And this works with configuring your database connections, your common transformations, and then you can start working on these pipelines rather than implementing it from the scratch. So with this, there are a few things that I would like to do. This is a slide which covers where we can help you guys as a service. We could deploy your Fabric, accelerate your implementation, connect and ingest data for you, model and transform it, enable AI and Copilot workflows. We can automate and govern data. We have done a separate webinar completely on governing your data using Purview. So that's something you might want to look into. Operate and optimize, discover, plan, scale, and evolve. With this, I'll actually put a poll in shortly. So just check this, guys. Let's see. How do you guys think? So, what is your biggest current challenge with data and analytics?
And also, if you have any questions, you can post them on the chat. We'll get them answered.
Okay, I see many responses saying that hard to scale AI models into production. That's true. Fabric actually takes the overhead of managing such notebooks and data pipelines for you. Manual reporting and slow
Yeah, and
business
also this.
insights. We have a yeah. Go on, Alex.
No, go ahead.
So there's something called direct lake mode, which is basically your report getting updated as soon as data is within your lakehouse. So as soon as the data lands in Fabric, it's readily available in your reports. Lack of governance, we have solution where you can actually put automatic classifiers. You can have complete AI workflows where it checks whether uh, some data is exposed within your reports or your pipelines. It can stop it, mask it, or completely stop your pipelines. There are many ways how you can work in it. And I see the top response is actually data is scattered across silos. It comes within Fabric that all your data is organized within one single place. Okay, so with this, I'll
And
end the
that's the
poll.
classic problem which most of the organizations are going through, right? Most of the organizations have their data in silos, and they want to unify them. As we all know that data is one that powers the AI, and your data has to be like ready for the AI, right? So Fabric as a tool helps you in getting your data ready for the AI.
So
I
now
have
I'll
some
open the
questions, Shika.
round for okay.
Um, First of all, on the cost, what are the cost advantages of Fabric compared to you know a current stack, like whatever they are using?
So on the technical front point, if you ask me, so the biggest cost savings come from the consolidation and speed, right? Your ramp up time, your team that is actually first processing your data pipelines, then putting it to the data scientists, then get it, ingest the data, start working on it. That consolidation and speed cost is something that you want to consider. And on top of it, instead of paying for multiple services for your ETLs, your lakehouse, warehouse, your machine learning tools, your BI tools, it's all consolidated within Fabric and it is being delivered within just one SKU. Along with that, you have AI integrated with this, which basically gives you Copilot capabilities, which helps you with AI-driven insights, coding. It helps you with your pipelines and a lot of stuff. So this reduces your downtime and your rework. So clients often find TCO drops when agility improves. So this is the way I would put this.
Okay, and I have like one more question, a classic question that most of them like ask us, right? We are already using Azure Synapse or Databricks. Why do we need Fabric?
I mean, I appreciate this question, and tools like Synapse, Databricks, and other tools, they're all powerful, but they often require the stitching together multiple services, right? And Fabric simplifies this by providing you a one SaaS platform with one lake at the center. So you always have one true source of data, which is actually feeding into all of your um, tools. And it's not replace everything, it's about consolidating your silos. So you reduce the integration overhead, you speed up the adoption across analytics, AI, BI, and on top of it, you have AI workflows, data science workflows with future capabilities. Let's say you want to train your own model, you have it within Fabric. Let's say you want to implement real-time pipelines, you have the capability to use this platform with the same set of tools that you already have. So you can simply ramp up your compute and start working on your future ready use cases.
Okay. Another important question about sensitivity of the data. How does Fabric ensure how sensitive data is secure with Copilot generating the queries and insights?
Uh, so I would like to answer this in a twofold actually. So Copilot in Fabric respects the same security and sensitivity labels as your data. So even if you have it in SharePoint, if you have it in, let's say, Cosmos DB, it's gonna take the same access privileges or same roles, and it's gonna give or grant the same access to those resources. Copilot won't expose it. And then governance that is embedded, we have to configure that end to end. So you can actually enhance your productivity, but you're also taking care of the compliance based on the roles that each user has.
Okay.
I also
We
see
have
one more
multiple
question.
other questions that are coming in, Shika. Like considering the time, we would like to stop here, and we'll
I'll,
have all the questions answered. We will reach out to them.
we have one question, Alex. Let's just take this one. I just saw
Okay.
it. Let me just read it out first.
Okay.
So the question is, what are the base assumptions for this demo? For example, is all data in the cloud? How does Fabric play with on-prem data from a performance and cost perspective? Does Fabric eliminate the need for grooming data for AI use? So it's a it's multiple questions framed in one question, but I'll try to give you a holistic answer to mine. So the base assumptions for this demo is firstly that you have data sources connected. The data or the template that we showed you for the accelerator, that was for a SQL server as source. So when you have SQL servers, you have your primary keys, secondary keys all defined since it's a relational database. So we pick up that metadata and we work on our transformations. So that's the base assumption we take for the demo. The second thing, how does Fabric play with on-prem from a performance and cost perspective? So we have data gateways through which we connect to on-prem sources, and it's gonna ingest your data. You can also mirror your existing databases, which gives you like free space. So that is free storage from Microsoft, where you can actually mirror your database and start performing on it. So cost wise, it's not going to cost you anything to store your existing data if you're using mirroring. So that's one thing. Again, depends on the data volume and um, how much compute you're using, what's the volume of the data. So performance wise, it's going to enhance for sure. And cost wise, I can give you a better answer if we have more unknown variables. And does it actually eliminate the need for grooming data for AI use? In a way, yes, not true entirely. So every use case has its nuances and business requirements where we actually need to use some AI functions, some AI workflows where you can actually work on your data to be, let's say, changed, transformed, masked based on the use cases. But we do have some inbuilt functions and governance capabilities using AI that can actually automate that process to a extent for you. I hope that answers your question. And with this, we'll be concluding our webinar. Thank you all very much to join us today. Uh, Alex, if you want to say something.
Yeah, I have like two announcements. If the first one I already mentioned earlier in the webinar, that if you have if you are trying to adopt Fabric and if you want to learn more about that, we have this inner day sessions we do in tandem with Microsoft. We can spin up separate environment for your organization and have you guys trained on Microsoft Fabric. Do reach out to us if you have any requirements around this. And we also have an upcoming session at the Microsoft Aon Center in Chicago. If you are in and around Chicago, if you want to talk to our experts and learn more about the use cases we are working with, we would love to see you there in the event. And with that, thank you all for joining today's session. I hope this was insightful for you. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you all.
Thanks everybody.